Nissan Z on GT radial tires. Let's see what you got here. Forsberg going against Eve Meyer in the chase position. Initiates now into that first outside zone. Slowly kind of works his way out there. Now snaps into that second outside zone. Eve Meyer tucking in the smoke. Oh man, look at the pressure that Eve Meyer's got. Nice to have BC Racing go for gold. Eve Meyer looking very comfortable at 86. Ooh, he does impede on that inside clip, but man, and that was a clean start. As long as he doesn't hit a cone, we're good to go. There it is. So here we go, that drift force. Gazoo Racing, Switzerland, Toyota GT86 comes now into that outside zone. Chris Forsberg, NOS Energy, all-new Nissan Z on GT radial tires. Eve Meyer, massive angle there. Huge angle from Eve. And look at that. Forsberg with a little shallower line, takes that inside line now, gets all close and personal to him around that inside clip. Drivers, here we go. Chris, of course, Forsberg out front, gets the clean air. And then all-new Z, Taylor Hole, a little bit more air, no bumper. Here we go, that first outside zone. Let's see how Forsberg and the new Z handles it. Gets all the way out there. Taylor Hole a bit shallow, going middle of the line. Let's see what Forsberg does. Gets out there, but now look at Taylor Hole. He strikes. Nice aggressive nature, comes in really tight there. A little bit nervous, he didn't make contact. Top 16. We got a clean start, kids. Taylor Hole out front. Chris Forsberg in the chase position. Taylor Hole initiates. Stalls a little handbrake pull into the outside zone. There goes Taylor Hole. Forsberg taking a bit of a shallower line. Look at that. Look at how Chris Forsberg held back a little bit and allowed him to gain proximity. Now going to that final outside zone. He's going to dive in here on that touch and go, and Forsberg gets right to the side of Taylor. Our Corolla going against the all-new NOS Energy Drink. Nissan Z on GT radials. Here we go. Ooh, Chris Forsberg, way late initiation. Ryan Turk initiates. Massive initiation. Tiny bumper, do-do-do-do. He goes into that wall, and now into that third outside zone. Forsberg now turning it up. What went wrong for Forsberg out of the gate? Oh, gets out of shape.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Something radials, but definitely comes out swinging. Here we go, homeboys. Forsberg and Turk going against each other. The NOS Energy Drink, all new Nissan Z on GT radials. Whoa, baby! Whoa, doctor, look at that. Whoa. Nasty, taps it in, backs it in. Backs it up. Chris Forsberg going for it. He knows he's going against #1 qualifier, Ryan Turk. But the Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla gets the win.
Forsberg qualified 12th compared to Adam LZ 21st. Forsberg initiates. Adam LZ dropped back a little bit. Forsberg pulling away in that VR-powered Nissan Z. Into that second outside zone, gets all the way out there. One of the fun haver teams, Adam LZ, comes now out of the horseshoe and past that inside clip. Adam LZ coming down the chute, initiating almost identically as LZ throws it down. Forsberg, you saw him, really good proximity there, almost had to check up. Big angle from LZ, big angle guy. Now flicks it around past that BC Racing front clip, exiting out of the horseshoe. LZ, big angle again, look at that. Brand new, all new Nissan Z. Castro initiates, Chris Forsberg knocking over that cone, no big deal there. Now coming up the hill, Castro, Forsberg hitting that what is to be the touch and go into that second outside zone. Goes Castro, Forsberg right there. Oh, look at that. Forsberg right there on the door of the Toyota 86. Now coming back down, the pressure being applied. Now bringing it around that final inside clip. Woo! Clean air, and Castro drops into formation. Oh, a little cross the nose there. I don't know if Castro gave him enough room. Ooh. And look at that as Forsberg initiates. Castro taking a shallower line into that first outside zone, now approaching the second inside zone. Castro dives in, now he's applying the pressure. He bangs on the door of Forsberg. Forsberg stays in it, Castro fighting to hang on. And one more clip makes some noise for Forsberg. And coming down the hill. Here comes that Mark IV Toyota Supra into that first front clip. Big angle there from Dan Burkett. Taking that middle line past what will be that touch and go. Burkett into the first outside zone, coming to that second outside zone. Dan Burkett getting all the way out there. Forsberg now transitioning out, and you cannot even see them with the naked eye. There is so much smoke, unbelievable. As he's doing, let's see more of that this year.
Absolutely.
Chris Forsberg leading NOS Energy Drink, all new Nissan Z on GT radial tires into that first clip. Dan Burkett tucks into formation. Forsberg powers up the hill in that first outside zone 1. Burkett, big angle there. Does not get out to the outside zone 2. Burkett, you can see him. He missed an outside zone, but that was a good compromise. He got the proximity. Now Forsberg passed that touch and go, and one more clip. Whoa, Dan. No problem, got a clean start from Matt Field. Coming down the hill. Let's see how they handle this. Both of them initiating almost identically into that front clip. Wow, look at Matt Field pulling away from Forsberg. Did not expect that, but now look at turn on that smoke machine. Comes in to the first and second outside zone. Forsberg knocking over that inside clip, now exiting out of the horseshoe. Past that final front clip. And bringing on Z. Matt Field giving chase. Initiating. Big angle there from Forsberg coming to that front clip. Matt Field taking out the front clip. Now coming in up the hill in that first outside zone. Now coming to the second outside zone. Both of them getting all the way out there. Look at Matt Field. And look. Did
Mechanical.
Matt Field breaking down. Oh, no. Oh, man. Matt Field trans Forsberg coming down the pipe. Who's going to be on the pipe? Here we go. Bringing it into that first inside clip. Big angle from Osbo. Forsberg dropping back a little bit. Let's see if he can reel him in. We saw that earlier. And now coming to that second outside zone. Osbo gets out there. Forsberg, amazing proximity. Now coming out of the horseshoe. Freddie looking a little bit more fluid here. Now coming back up the hill. And there's Osbo. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to win here at round 2 of the Fórmula Jet Pro Championship? Now coming into that first front clip. There goes Chris Forsberg. Now coming on up the hill. Look at Frederick Osbo. He takes out that cone. Into that first outside zone. You see a little decel there from Osbo. Into the second outside zone. Now on that front clip. Transitioning out of the horseshoe. How are they going to handle it? Bringing it on around into one more final touch and go and a front clip. Woo! Wait, doctor, look at that! Versus the force. Coming down into that first inside clip. Let's see what we got. Frederick Osbo initiates. Forsberg tries to get the door to Supra. And there goes that Supra trying to pull away from Chris Forsberg. Into that first outside zone. Coming in outside zone 2. Freddie uses all the course. Gets all the way out there to the edge. Now past that inside clip. Freddie does knock it over as Forsberg now takes a tighter line. Exiting out of the horseshoe. Now back up past that final front. Force. The Hammer, Nissan versus Toyota, GT Radial versus Ditto. Big initiation there from Forsberg. Big angle from him. Now coming on in, shallow on that line, coming to that first outside zone. Cones are flying everywhere. It's a party here in Atlanta. Into that front clip. Big, nice sweep there by both the drivers. Look at that snappy transition from Osbo. Coming on down, back the hill. One more clip for glory for one of these drivers. Osbo. Toyota GR86. Castro initiates into the bank. Forsberg in tow. Castro. See him really sticking it to the wall. Forsberg sticking it to the door of that Toyota. Now coming into that first inside clip. Transitioning now into that second inside clip. There goes Castro. There goes Forsberg. In that second outside zone. Castro taking a very shallow line. He needs to find his car out there. And Forsberg prep. A 3-time champ. Chris Forsberg, NOS energy drink. All new Nissan Z. Castro trying to be aggressive, but we talk about being in the pocket, and he is bursting that bubble right now. He is exceeding the front tires. He has the proximity, but we need him to get in the pocket, and Castro, being too aggressive, did not allow himself enough room to transition. If he completes the entirety of this run, he will get the victory. He does exceed that line, but imagine like doing a dirt drop in Atlanta. Up there from Burkett and Forsberg. Swing across the nose from Dan Burkett. And here comes Forsberg talking about that horsepower he's got on deck. Will it show up here? Coming down into that first inner clip. Chris Forsberg brings it across its second inside clip. Dan Burkett almost into that crease. He's going to need to throw down here. Big initiation from him. Dan Burkett gets right to the side of him. Has to fall back as Forsberg continues on in pace. Again, that soft suspension absorbs it. Now going into that second inside clip and that final second outer zone. Burkett bathing in the GT Radial smoke. Burkett, and it's go time. Daniel Suzuki will lead. Initiating into the bank. That VR-powered All new Nissan Z, you can see him pacing Stuckey now, coming off the bank into that first inside clip, transitioning now. See, that's what I'm talking about, just that chase that Osbo did earlier, so hard to beat. Wasn't as much angle from Stuckey, so the opportunity wasn't there, but the FOSBERG will lead. Stuckey right there next to FOSBERG. We'll see how he initiates and drops into formation. FOSBERG high on the bank. That NOS energy drink, Nissan Z. Now into that first clip. Stuckey in the smoke, goes way on the inside.
That might have been 3 off.
And regardless, FOSBERG continues on, and he will be going, leaving the start line, and we got a clean start. Here we go, Frederick Osbo, the first run of this battle. FOSBERG in tow, Osbo riding the wall. This is like what we just saw from those 2 American vehicles, and now we're seeing it from the imports of Toyota and Nissan. Osbo and FOSBERG now alternating positions, going to that second inside clip. Good transition for both the drivers. FOSBERG doing a good job keeping that pace, keeping that tempo. Oh, coming up a little bit short there, but keeping that proximity is FOSBERG. So as Chris FOSBERG leaves the line, it's all about FOSBERG and Osbo. And a transition there. Look at Osbo, just barely flirting with that back bumper. So that's what we saw Osbo do earlier. So lower on the bank, proximity not as high. And we saw him do that against Essa. And look at, there's Osbo doing his signature move, just barely allowing FOSBERG to transition, going to that final crease. And Osbo dropping back. FOSBERG riding right on that edge. Osbo exceeding it just a little bit. Chris FOSBERG got second in Atlanta. Can he better it here in these very wet conditions? Dylan Hughes initiates on the bank. Good angle from him and his royal purple BMW O'Reilly Auto Parts. As the windshield wipers are wiping, the Rain X is a-working. Now down into that first inner clip. Chris FOSBERG chasing him down into that second inner clip. FOSBERG keeping the composure. Dylan Hughes, great angle from him. Going to that second outside zone, into the crease with Dylan Hughes. Chris FOSBERG right there in the highest horsepower, all new Nissan Z, the NOS Energy Drink Z, chasing down the Royal Purple Burger Dylan Hughes. Chris FOSBERG initiates in his NOS Energy Drink. Nissan Z on GT Red. Look at Dylan Hughes, the proximity, the angle from FOSBERG. Dylan Hughes chasing him down. You can see that brake light just barely kind of flickering on the wall. Coming down to that first inside clip. Transition, nice job by Dylan Hughes into the second inside clip. Are we gonna go one more time? Oh, Dylan Hughes does take out that inside clip. Chris FOSBERG gets in the crease, does exceed it just a little bit. Now coming, bring it along across the finish line. FOSBERG or Hughes.
Here comes Adam LZ in that first outside zone. Chris FOSBERG initiates, looks like Adam LZ hooking up, coming and really slingshotting out of that first outside zone. Adam LZ filling all of that second outside zone. Look at this, a little bit of gap between LZ and FOSBERG. But again, it's all about, oh, look at this snappy transition into, oh, and Adam LZ, it looks like, so with that snappy transition, it looks like it gripped up and it created a wall. Chris FOSBERG under the bridge into that first outside zone. Into the second outside zone. Go FOSBERG and Z. And now into that, look at that. Look at Adam LZ sticking it to the door of Chris FOSBERG, the 3-time champ. Now transitioning into that final outside zone. Chris FOSBERG brings it on in, Adam LZ. JTP out front, that Falcon Tires Ford Mustang. Chris FOSBERG initiates a little earlier than JTP. We'll see if that pays off. Now transitioning into that second outside zone. JTP, big angle. Chris FOSBERG not as deep. Now he finds himself in the middle of that second outside zone. Let's see how they transition here into that final outside zone. Chris FOSBERG pacing them. Looks like he was just on the wrong side of his vehicle. And Justin Pollock, all Nissan Z on GT Radio tires. He knows he needs to throw down. He does just that. Big gangster initiation, but JTP, watch him kind of surge up here. He does that. Lacking the angle, but does gain the proximity. Now FOSBERG into that second outside zone. Into that final outside zone goes FOSBERG. Here goes Justin Pollock, and oh, Pollock goes into the wall, but he salvages the BMW against Chris FOSBERG, who we thought was out. It was a scratch. No, guess what? That all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z is back at it, like a track addict. Now into that second outside zone, and FOSBERG comes in hot. Looks like we got a little tire contact there. The GT radio's going to the side. It looks like FOSBERG shuts it down. Don't know exactly what the problem was previously, but it might be suspension related. Nissan Z of Chris FOSBERG initiates into the bank. Let's see Hirsch. You can see him gaining closer, gaining some ground. Big angle there from Chris FOSBERG. Again, qualifying third. Let's see how it enters the power alley. Into the second outside zone.
Into the third, Jonathan Hurst diving in on the inside, tight to that inside clip. Now transitioning into that final outside zone. The start line, here we go. The AZ Rags BMW throws it in aggressively. Forsberg gets right to the side of him, has to back off a little bit. You can see getting closer and closer. Big angle there from Hurst to that second outside zone. Forsberg not being shaken. Now into that third outside zone. Through the power alley goes Jonathan Hurst. Forsberg right there. Let's see how they handle this transition. And gets right to the side of him and brings it on home. Big angle there from Hurst.
Big.
Here we go. Chris Forsberg initiates into the bank, almost simultaneous there from Forsberg and Jones. Big angle there. Look at the attitude of Forsberg's car. You see it wobble. Ooh, Jeff Jones going for it. Into that second outside zone, into the power alley, into that third outside zone. Here comes Jeff Jones on the inside. Taking a tight line. Chris Forsberg nudging over that inside clip and then into that outside final zone. Jeff Jones out front. That Evo AutoWorks Nissan 370Z initiates. Big angle from him. You can see how much power he's got. Big angle there from Jones. Now Jones, let's see how he handles the power alley into that second outside zone. Big angle from Jones. Forsberg attacks on that third outside zone. Forsberg now drops to the door of Jones into that final outside and fourth zone. Jeff Jones giving chase, initiating that all-new Z. Goes Chris Forsberg, the three-time champ. Good angle from him, Jeff Jones. Good proximity. Look at that diving in. Man, Jeff Jones out for blood. Jeff Jones dives in once again. Both of them wrapping around that inside clip and bringing it on home as Jeff Jones management grade 8. Jeff Jones, Evo AutoWorks Nissan 370Z shreds that back bumper. The hatch opens, and that very well could potentially be a problem. And now coming through into that second outside zone, Chris Forsberg swings wide, takes out that outside clip. And Ryan Forsberg and Hull. Forsberg initiates. Big angle from him. That all-new Z. Taylor Hull needs to get a little height, and it seems that Forsberg puts it to the, oh, he does not get out to that second outside zone, and Taylor Hull, a big correction there. Straightens out in that power alley. Now comes into that final outside zone. Getting that eye in the sky view, the bird's eye view. Oh, buddy. Taylor Hull initiates. You see Chris Forsberg get close, has to back off. And now Taylor Hull maintains the height on the bank. Oh, Taylor, looks like Taylor does go one wheel off in that second outside zone. And now in that final outside zone, here goes Taylor Hull. And Forsberg brings it on in. All new Z. Chelsea Denofa initiates. Big angle from Chelsea. Throws it in high on the bank. Chelsea Denofa a little higher than Forsberg. He needs to slide back to a little more massive angle from Chelsea. Now into that second outside zone. Forsberg makes the attack on that third outside zone. Gets right to the door of the Mustang. Great job by Chelsea out front. Now to that final outside zone. Denofa front. Chelsea Denofa in the chase position. Here we go. Forsberg initiating. Chelsea Denofa chasing him down for it. Oh man, Denofa! You see a little bit of wobble there now coming to that second outside zone. Denofa aggressive with the chase into that third outside zone. Now into the final outside zone. Here goes Forsberg and Denofa into the sunlight as the sun sets. Lead start here, the all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z initiating. Big, nasty initiation. Odie Bakshi's right there, pushing him. Looks like maybe contact there. We'll get the eye in the sky view from our U.S. Air Force replay. Odie Bakshi's slide to the side of Chris Forsberg, keeping the angle and pushing around. Now transition into that final outside zone. Odie Bakshi absolutely tuned up, dialing into that last outside zone. Oh, doctor, look at these guys. Here we go. Odie Bakshi's out front. Chris Forsberg in that chase position. Let's see how they initiate. Odie Bakshi's initiates into that first inside clip. Here comes Forsberg. Odie Bakshi's want to see that top view to see if he got into that all of that first outside zone. Great angle from Odie Bakshi's. Look at that. Absolutely dialed on that second. And now in that final outside zone, Odie Bakshi's sets it and forgets it. And the point stop here. One of them's going to continue on. The all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z.
on GT radial tires. Big entry there from Forsberg. Chelsea Nova bring up the rear of that Penzo Mustang RTR Spec 5. Chase him down, getting buried in the smoke. Getting all that second outside zone as Forsberg and Genova trying to get to the side of him is that Ford Mustang. Now let's see how they transition in that final outside zone. Forsberg gets in it. Buries that Z in at Genova. Good proximity. Chelsea Genova out front. Chris Forsberg in the chase position. 108.7 miles per hour, the fastest we've seen. Chelsea Nova, that wide swing in that first outside zone, transitioning into the second outside zone. Now into that inside clip goes Chelsea Nova, big, massive angle there. Now, bathing in the smoke is Chris Forsberg. How he stuck with that is unbelievable. Now into that last outside zone. Had on the bank today, and then it shut down on him. So, all right, he works his way to the top, taps the wall, and that all-new Nissan Z, the NOS Energy Drink Z. So we have 8 drivers, only 5 will in advance. Wow! Works it into that second outside zone. Forsberg would love to be in the top 3. That's how I'd love to end it. Okay. Man, save some for the rest of us.